Hey Cam fam, welcome back and welcome to Keeping Up with Cam. If you're new here, thank you so much for tuning into our channel. And if you're a returning subby, thank you so much for coming back. So today we have our Toddler Boy hairstyle video number 55. So we're going to be doing a no cornrow braid style. So we're just going to be plaiting, but we're going to be adding some color. Yes, we've tried color before, but this time it worked a lot better. All right, so let's get into it. I'm going to be sectioning the hair. I'm going to start off with going horizontally from ear to ear so I can section off the back and the front, and then I'm going to work into the subsections from there. Alright, so we're getting to our braiding product. We're going to be using Shine and Jam, the yellow container as usual. I will say I don't know if they've changed the formula or if it's just the fact that I bought a bigger size container than I usually do, or I got the short end of the stick, but this one was really like soft, really mushy, and really just kind of watery. It didn't do its job that well. It didn't really hold anything. It didn't really slick anything down. It was just kind of there. So let me know if you guys have had any issues with Shine and Jam as well. Or maybe if it was just me and I got a bad batch. So we're sectioning away the hair. The sections are going to be fairly large. We're not working with small sections this time around, so you don't have to worry about them being too small. Just make sure that you do, like you see here, I took that top section, I made sure that it was in a tight bun, and I'm holding the back section down with my hand. That way I can just see how straight the line really is, if it's crooked, or if it's just has some pieces that aren't in line where they need to be, and that'll allow me to straighten up the line quickly instead of just like going piece by piece by piece and the hair is still jaggedy. So we're making another part here. This is closer to the top, and we're going to try and even that out. Remember, I am the queen of taking forever to part a straight line. I don't think it's ever going to change. It's that way on Cam, it's that way on myself. So take your time, give yourself some grace. Trust me, we are not all those professionals that you see, they slick on the Shine and Jam and just whoosh, go one time and it's straight. That is not me, not today, not tomorrow, and I don't think ever. But we have 3 big sections, but in total we're gonna have 6, and you'll see what I mean in a little while. But just make sure you get those 3 main sections done. Go back over, smooth out the hair, pull and put in the bun so you can see how the line really looks, to make sure that you're parting the hair appropriately. So you can see here that I'm putting them in like 2. It's going to be more than that, but I'm just putting them in 2 to be able to put them away and work on the sections a little bit easier. So I'm going in that top section and I'm going to split that in half as well. So I'm going to split that in half from one side to the other, and then we're also going to work on that front piece again, split as well. But you'll see that more when we get there. I did momentarily just say 6, but I think it's actually going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, I think maybe 7. We'll see what happens. We'll see how it goes. All right, time to brush out. When I tell you guys, this brush is like heaven in your hair, I'm not lying. I've met my favorite brush and this is it. And I love that it's purple, my favorite color. But yes, this is my new favorite brush. I did get it at the beauty supply store. I will link it in the description box below if you guys want to get your own as well. I have told you guys about the flow through, the easy flow, the EV flow through brush that I've used before, the pink one. That brush isn't a bad brush. I just prefer this one. I know I've been supposed to have a live with you guys. This is one of the products I wanted to talk about on the live. Honestly, I just absolutely love it, and there's so many reasons for that. So I will be discussing it on the live, which should be happening soon. But yeah, whatever brush you're using, as long as you're using a brush that isn't pulling, make sure you brush through your sections really, really well, root to tip. You want to make sure that there are no snags, no pulls, no anything, so we have an easy work space. So now I'm going in and I'm just making a very small part at the top of the section that I already have. I want it to be minuscule. Not a very large section, not a very thick, wide, length. Either way, as you can see here, not a lot of hair. It's really a thin section that we're using, and you're going to just separate that and wrap it up for now and put it away. All right, so we are going to section our back into 3 pieces. We're going to have 3 braids coming down the back. Super easy. If you'd like, you can do more. If you want less, you can do less as well. But for the thickness of his hair and the size of his head, 3 works really well for me with this style. So I definitely didn't have to do this as much like a year or 2 ago when his hair wasn't as thick, but I have to go through and make sure that I am brushing through his hair, combing through his hair, brushing down his hair like with that flat soft brush, and then going back again, combing and brushing as I go. So just make sure that you want a flat, non-tangled workspace as we go along. So if you have to stop frequently to brush and comb through, go ahead and do that, because you just want this style to last as long as possible. You want it to look as neat as possible from the beginning, so there's no shame in brushing and combing 1,000 times. So we're working with our elastics. This is the brand that I use, which is the Goody brand. They're also linked in the description box. I got these in a pack of 500 in that cute little bag. I got them from Walmart, so you could probably get those there. They also have them on Amazon. So I'm going to be working with putting an elastic at the roots. I'm going to braid it out, and then I'm also going to put an elastic again at the end. So as you can see there, I am combing out as I go and brushing out as I go. I literally am continuing to do this like the whole braid down, but I just kind of edit it out just to make it look a little nicer. But yeah, I brush and comb as I go to ensure the niceness of the braid. So as I get to the end, I'm going to just add a little bit of the Shine and Jam onto my fingers. As I continue to braid down, it'll add into the hair, and it'll just keep it straight and add a little bit of moisture to it, because you know the ends can get a little bit dry, especially if you are using like couple day old hair and it's not been freshly moisturized or sealed with your LCO or LOC method. Alright, so I want you guys to see here, this is the difference between braiding overhand and loose and braiding underhand and tight. You can see the difference in length. So ensure you know which way you prefer to braid. I did end up taking out that first braid that I did, and I just did everything underhand and loose. The tighter overhand way makes it a lot more compact and a lot neater. But I like the ability to kind of get true to length when you do it the underhand and loose way. So whichever makes you feel more comfortable, whichever kind of gives you the best outcome, whatever works, do it that way. But for this time, we did go with the underhand and just a little bit more spacing in your hands as you braid. That's what allows it to be that looser braid and give it that length to the braid as you go down. All right, so now for that random section that I had you guys take out at the top. So we're going to braid these. They can be more square, like box braids if you prefer. I kind of just did them a little bit bigger in size because I didn't want them like micro, because listen, taking these out was not fun. Taking these rows out took so long compared to the other braids. I was like, should I just cut his hair? So yeah, do them. I would suggest doing them with a little bit more size to them, just so that the braid itself is thicker. But yeah, you're just going to go down. I'm not adding any elastic at the root because they're a smaller size braid. And I'm not adding any elastic at the ends either. I do suggest putting a little bit of shine and jam on your fingertips as you're braiding closer to the ends. That way it'll keep it straight and keep it together, and it'll lessen the risk of it curling up as you go. So for those, I think I did maybe 5 across the bottom. Just do them, space them out as evenly as possible, but just ensure that you're not doing them too small, because trust me, you will regret it on takedown. All right, so now we're sectioning off our second row. We put away our tiny sliver of a braid section at the top, and we're going in now to the middle part. So I am going to just do the 2 on the sides first because I know what size I want to work with for those 2 braids, and then I'm going to section out the ones in between them. This is where it begins to get fun. So I'm using this Got To Be Color Pop. This is kind of all we have for like hair wax that I could find, so that's what I just wanted to add a little color in. I'm using gloves, absolutely using gloves, because this stuff stains. Not too bad, but it does. So you see I'm adding it in. This stuff is more so for like blonde hair, so it's not really going to show up that much in the hair, but just to give a little pop of color, a little something different, I wanted to try. As I'm now recording the voiceover after having done this style, I actually found color wax, like actual color wax. So I'm going to try that at a later date, but this is all we had for now. So as you can see, it did leave a little bit of the red stuff on my hand afterwards, but it didn't stain anything. It didn't leave any mess in his clothes or anything like that. So this stuff is decent. So I added a little bit of the Got To Be to the root because I wanted to make sure it slicked down like anything else. And I didn't really put a lot of color in the root. I just stayed on the middle and the ends. This stuff says it comes out in about 6 washes. That's more so for folks who wash their hair, I guess, like on a daily or like every other day basis. We wash every week, every 2 weeks if we can push it. So I don't know if it's going to last longer. I literally haven't even washed his hair yet because it's been, a week that the style's been in. So hopefully it doesn't take too long to come out. I mean, it doesn't really show that much anyways. I will be adding pictures towards the end. Not towards the end. I'll be adding pictures on our community post and on Instagram, just kind of showing you an update of what the color looked like after, a couple days in his hair. But as you can see here, you can barely even see it once it's braided. But it was just something to do to add a little bit of something different to his hair. Alright, so we are going in and we're just braiding this as usual, plaiting it down. I think we did about 3 or 4 in the middle of the 2 colored ones. Again, underhand and more spacing in between leaves you with that elongated braid instead of the more condensed and compact braid. So now that summer's here, do you guys find that you have been having more trouble finding a style for your little one, or having trouble getting like the chlorine out of their hair because they're swimming so much? Are you washing their hair more often? Or does summer not even make a difference? Is it the same as a school year or same as any other time of year? How do you guys handle summer and hair and little ones with lots of hair? So we are going in with some more. You can see here that it's pretty red, and then it gets on the hair and it's like bleh. Yeah, like I said, it's more so for the blonde hair or like light brown. His hair is very light brown, especially towards the end and especially in the sun. So that's why it showed more when we were out in the sun. But since his hair wasn't like black dark, I figured that it would show some type of color and that it wouldn't be a total waste to do this. This is color for just regular hair. It's not for depositing semi-permanent or permanent color. It's not for bleaching. It has nothing like that I'm putting in his hair, because you guys know me. I'm very strict when it comes to the type of products that I put in there, how like the age that I wait to like put those, like introduce those things to his hair. So this is not bad, I promise. This is what my hands look like afterwards. You can see it's a little bit red, but I literally went and washed it out after this with some soap and it was gone. So it's not staining to your hands, it's not staining to the clothes, it's not staining to their scalp, to their skin, nothing like that. This product worked well for what it needed to do. If you guys are looking for like an alternative to this style, this can definitely be done with 2 strand twists instead of braids. I would suggest this if you don't want to spend forever taking out these little braids. If they're done as twists, it would be a lot quicker. But it just, I guess, depends on how comfortable you are with the twists in your little ones. If the twists last long, if the twists are your preference. But this style can definitely be switched out for 2 strand twists instead of braids. So I cannot get over how satisfying this brush is. I absolutely love using it. I can't wait to show you guys and talk about it on the live. But this brush is amazing. So this is what his hair is looking like in the middle. His hair in the middle is definitely more like wavy. It's like more 3C, I would say. More of a 3 texture than the rest of his hair. So it is a little bit not as like thick as the rest of his hair, because we have about 2 or 3 different textures going on. But yeah, that's just what the middle is looking like. So we're going in there, we're working the shine and jam in, we're using our soft brush. This is also linked in the description box. I'm going to then put in the elastic and we're going to braid it down and add an elastic again at the end. So we're just alternating between the bigger braids and then the rows of the smaller braids, and then we're going to switch it up once we get to the front, and then you'll see how that's going to look. Parting tip is always go as far down the face as you can to part. So go close to the nose just to make sure that you're getting it as centered as possible and that you're getting the part to be as straight as possible. So we're splitting it in half in the front, but as you can see, I'm also parting from the front and holding it on both sides just to make sure that the section is as straight as possible. It's not curved, it's not slanted off to one side, and it's centered in the middle of his hair. So to get the small braid section for the front, we're going to take half the section length, half the section width on the right side and half of it on the left side. So that's going to make up the full amount in the middle, but it's also going to keep the hair still centered, so that it doesn't look like you're taking this from like the left side and then the right side is a little off tilt, right? So make sure you're taking from a little bit from each side to make that middle one. And then I'm going to go in and I'm going to split that into 4, and I'm just going to have they're going to be alternating, and so we're going to have 2 on the left, 2 on the right. You can start on the left at the front, or you can start on the left at the back, whatever works for you, but just have them going left, right, and then we're going to add them in. So now I'm going into that braid. I've added in my shine and jam, and I'm using my soft brush just to get all the lumps and bumps and everything out. I'm then going to add in the 2 small braids that are going in the same direction. I'm going to put my elastic in, and I'm just going to make sure that I'm putting this braid closer to his ear than it is like in the middle of the actual box braid section itself. That way it kind of like lays flatter and it's not standing up and looks like a ponytail, which kind of gives it a more of a girly framing of the face. So this way it just kind of sits on the side of the face and it's a little bit more boyish. Alright, so here is the final product in some natural light. This is our Toddler Boy hairstyle number 55. It looks great. We did add a pop of color that kind of is only popping in the sun, but it turned out wonderful. We hope you guys enjoyed the video. We hope you guys enjoy recreating this. Definitely hit us up in the comment section below. Thumbs up this video if you like it. Subscribe to our channel if you have not already, and follow us on Instagram. And tune back into our next video, and we'll see you in the next one. Okay, guys? Bye.